Just setting up the stream here. And it looks like it's live. Great. So it's like a few seconds to 10 a.m. and then I'll start. Maybe we can try pinning a message here. Let's see. Nah, we'll do that later. Bobo eyes. Chicken legs and ankles. Hey, good to see you, Kat Delion, and also good to see you too, Chicken Legs. And hopefully we have a solid stream today in terms of the connection. I had a Comcast technician actually come out here, and they found tons of problems, not on my end. So thankfully, like I've actually already purchased like 2 routers. I purchased 2 modems, and yeah, I found out that it wasn't my wiring, it wasn't my equipment. It's basically an issue on the box near my house, and so technician came, and the technician came, figured it out, figured out the issues, and then all they did was like provide like a filter in one of my lines, but they're now scheduling an actual revisit from like contractors to install new cables towards my house, because I guess that's the issue. I mean, the house is pretty old, so, but hopefully the quick fix they provided works out today, and we have a solid stream, because last time really sucked. But we're here today, and again, it's going to be an update to this case. Last time you saw me was about 2 weeks ago, and I was putting together this case, and then the internet died, and so hopefully we have the internet going. Evie Designs is in here. Good to see you, Evie Designs. Been chatting with that individual for a while. We got some stuff going on in the future involving him or her. I don't know their gender actually, but yeah, pretty cool person to chat with. And yeah, so we're going to be working on this case, and basically, I mean, obviously it's put together already, but I think I mentioned it in the previous stream. There are, of course I have like issues with the internet again. Oh my God. So, this is going to be fun, I think. It is really irritating. Anyways, we'll see how far we can get. If it gets too crazy, let's say we have like 3 lags, I'll just stop it, because like last time was just annoying. I do have a sort of solution that I might be able to implement on Sunday. But right now I am getting warnings again. This is really just, I love throwing money away. Anyways, so if the stream is successful today, it's once again sponsored by JLC 3DP. Again, if you don't have a printer, or your printer is too small, and if you want to print out some of my cases, which do tend to be pretty large because I do have a pretty large printer, you can use services just like JLC 3DP, and if you're a new member, you can get like, I guess, coupons along with discounts if you're a new member. And if you want to use like a new member discount, go ahead and click the link in my description, and then I also have links to some other coupons that they also have. So thanks again to JLC 3DP for sponsoring the stream. But anyways, let's get started on this. So basically, last we left off, I think we just got the panels put together, and then the stream died, and basically off stream I put the PC together with the water cooling loop in there, and I ran into a bunch of issues. Basically, first issue, actually one of the quick issues is basically, I mean, it's already corrected in the CAD, so after the stream when I upload it, it'll be corrected, but if you see here, there's magnets on the corners of the panels, and they're supposed to attach to the case. However, the guy who designed this forgot to actually install magnets on some of the corners here, and so I mean, I was putting the case together, and I was like, why isn't it like not lining up that well? And basically, like, I'm missing some magnets, but it's corrected in the CAD, so when I upload it, it should be available and corrected. And another thing I found out was that as cool as this orientation is, my RTX 3080 hated it. And so you'll see soon enough there's different ways to use the case, but I kind of just like stopped loving this case after that happened. So basically, I did some thermal tests with this layout, meaning vertical, and I found out that my GPU like almost hit the thermal limit like immediately. I don't know if it's just like how old the heat pipes are in my video card or just the way the heat pipes are oriented in the video card itself, but it did not like it. Like literally just like taking the case and just turning it on its side like dropped like 10-15 degrees. And so yeah, I kind of just like did not like the case after that. But I mean, it's still a cool case. Like I think it's dependent on the video card, so we're gonna find out today. So I don't have the RTX 3080 in here anymore. I've installed my old RTX 2080 Ti. If you watched my previous streams, I showed you how I took apart my own personal PC inside that Mandalorian case. And inside that was the RTX 2080 Ti. However, it was water cooled, so I had a water block on it, so there was like really no way to use it unless I hooked it up with a new loop. And I actually did that a few times where I just like hooked up a 360 millimeter radiator to it and played around with it. But I think bringing it back in its like stock air form is gonna just be better moving forward. And what I did find was this video card doesn't seem to have a problem with it. Like I went ahead and ran some benchmarks, and I think I hit like a maximum of like 70 degrees or 71 or something. So I have that number already, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it in the other format, and that's kind of what I want to show today. Let's see, we got a question from Evie Designs. Evie Designs writes, is there anything we should look out for when utilizing magnets? Like don't put it in close to some areas in the Mobo and stuff. I think in my previous stream where I did the micro ATX with the ability to add like I think 2 or no, I think it was like 4 hard drives, I would definitely not put magnets near like spinning disks. I mean they work on magnets themselves. I'm sure that there's engineering involved to like kind of like I think cancel out whatever magnets are outside of it, but I wouldn't risk it. And so definitely if you have spinning disks, I would just not I would just try to avoid using magnets altogether. And however though, for this type of case, I haven't had issues. I'm sure that like maybe depending on how you orient the magnets, it might affect like how the fans work, but I doubt it. And I don't think you're going to be using enough magnets to make that an issue. Let me see. Let me take a look at it with you. Maybe, yeah. I mean, besides the fan, those work on magnets. I don't really believe that like the power supply should be affected that much. I mean, if anything though, like I guess a general rule to follow is just not to have a magnet directly touching components on the PC. Like just make sure it's just part of the case. But that's like unscientific me talking about it though. All right. And yeah, so basically, so the first problem was the magnets that should be fixed in the CAD. The second problem was the RTX 3080 did not like this orientation. And the third problem was you're seeing right now it's using the air cooling configuration. So I think if my CAD is right, you should be able to fit like 100 millimeter heatsink fans on here. Or use the 240 millimeter radiator. Now, the reason why it's also another fail with the radiator is that like when I installed it first, it worked. When I turned it on, like I heard like I guess I didn't. So right now there's no cable management happening right now. I just kind of threw it in there because I don't really need to. But when I put in the radiator at first, it actually one of these cables was hitting the fan, so I had to take it out. Put it back in, did thermal testing. The CPU was fine with the radiator. Obviously, the RTX 3080 did not like it. And then I did some changes where I changed the configuration. and all of a sudden, like I couldn't get the I could get the AIO in, but it just would not. It kept on getting kinks. Hold on one second. I think I have like. Actually, I mean, is the stream still going? 'Cause I still have errors right now, and I'm wondering, like, am I just talking to like dead space right now? Because if that's the case, I'll probably just like stop. But anyways, if that's not the case, basically I'll continue. Basically, uh, yeah. So I guess I was getting like kinking with the tubes, and I don't know. Maybe the first two times I put it in, it just kind of like slotted itself perfectly where it wasn't kinked. And Cat Dealan says your stream is fine to me. Awesome, thank you, Cat. So the tubing was kinking, and then for some reason, every time I tried to reinstall it, it would either kink or like a new cable would hit, and so I just kind of got really upset, and it kind of, I mean, that day wasn't going well already. Like the stream died, and then the RTX 3080 was overheating in this tower configuration, and then the final straw for me really was that 240 millimeter radiator. Like it just annoyed the living crap out of me, and so I just had to walk away from it. But right now I do have it set up in its air cooling mode, and it's working fine. And so the case, I was actually really like deciding whether or not I even wanted to share it because of just those little niggling details, but I think it's still worth sharing because I mean, it's still a cool looking case. Like if you go with air cooling, and you know you have a video card that doesn't that does work well in this configuration, I think it's cool. I've already began updating the files so that it can use bigger video cards. Unfortunately, it does make it a lot bigger. So in the new revision, it's basically a lot wider to accommodate for like a 5090, and it's also slightly taller to accommodate some of the length as well, and it's also a little deeper because again so I guess I was trying to design for the 4090 and the 5090. The 5090 is like a semi 2-slot. The 4090 is a 3-slot, and so with the 3-slot design, it does push the front out. However, you know, designing for the 3080 that I have, because I mean I mainly design for stuff that I do have, and then also now with the RTX 2080 Ti, I can keep it small. So right now, I did some of the measurements. This panel up here is optional, but without the panel, you're looking at like a 10.2 liter case. With the panel, it becomes 11.2. So literally, this little like panel here like adds adds 1 liter to the case. Evie Design writes, "Yeah, it's going good. Awesome, thank you, Evie." And you know, unlike Evie, so Evie and I have been talking off screen, and basically, when he does his CAD or their CAD, like they can do parametric design, meaning they can kind of like shrink it, grow it, whatever, based on just numbers. I'm not a CAD master. my CAD is like literally like spaghetti and glue to make things happen, and so for me to modify my CAD, it takes just a little longer. And so actually last night I was trying to do it, but I just had so many issues, and then I had SolidWorks crash. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'll just release it as is, and if there's enough talk or if there's enough demand to make it bigger, then maybe I'll look into it. But this is what you're gonna get. And then Evie writes, he, him, his. Awesome, cool. And so yeah, so it's still a cool case. Like even looking at it, I mean, just I am kind of a little ticked off about the screws. Depending on the angle, obviously, like the light coming at me is like super bright, but the back beyond the camera is like super dark. So it's basically reflecting whatever's behind there. And that's why it's quite dark. But it does kind of stick out though. But the case itself is pretty clean though. I mean, like the panels look pretty good. You know, despite the magnet missing here, like there's only like a slight little issue here, but I mean that's just plastic too. Backside looks fine. And so what I do like and also dislike is the back. And so ignore this thing. It's only optional. But basically, I'll list it in the, when I upload the files, I'll list all the parts I use. But I did get some breakouts for the HDMI along with the DisplayPort, and I think it looks pretty clean. It does, however, mean that like accessing the USB is a little harder, obviously. Like, I mean, I think what we could possibly do in the future is just add in like a USB here, but there's just really not that much room, especially with the breakouts that I use. I have seen some other breakouts that are a lot like more lower profile, so we could probably add more. Actually, my original goal was to add 2 display ports and an HDMI. I could only fit HDMI and DisplayPort for now, but obviously this is also optional. So this breakout piece here obviously is not part of the front panel. So if you take it out, you could just use normal like right angle cables to attach everything. It will all just kind of like hang out whenever you're not using it. But I mean, as you see here, it does make it look pretty clean. Actually, you know what? This is bothering me right now. I'm going to take it off. But basically, depending on the configuration, like there's parts that don't need to be installed, and that was one of them. And so in its like tower form, it can just be kind of this like clean design with a pretty small footprint. Like I'm really liking how small this is. I do need to, obviously, again, work out some details. Again, sorry, I didn't mention before, but basically, with increasing the overall width of the case to accommodate for a 5090, it actually would solve the problem for the 240 AIO where I was kinking my tubes, and so that's kind of like a free win there. But as you see here, the power supply just comes out just like so, and it's pretty clean. And looking inside, basically not much to say really. I was actually kind of concerned about the airflow in here because I don't have any case fans, obviously. Actually right now my garage smells like if you've ever been to Asia and visited one of their temples, like they always have like a smell to them. That's how my garage smells right now, because I use these little incense sticks to like kind of like see where airflow is going, and basically my garage smells like, it smells good, but it just smells. But basically I wanted to see what the airflow was like, and so my assumptions were the air would come in for the video card through the front and then be expelled to the sides, and that was the case. However, I was actually a little concerned about where a cooler like this would get air without any ducting, and thankfully it does actually draw air in and then expel it out from the back over here. So it kind of worked out. And obviously this top panel is also a mesh. And so like as far as trapping heat, it does an awesome job about it. Every designer writes, the X Proto Open Case Maker has the 90-degree angled cables, and they are pretty low profile, but they cost a little extra. Oh, for sure. I don't doubt it, because the one I've seen, it probably is part of the same one we're talking about, but it's like a PCB almost, and so, or like a flex PCB. So those aren't cheap. The ones I have is literally like it's just like a connector that's just right angled, and that has like a terminating end. But as you can see though, I mean, I even forgot that I have a USB stick in here already, and obviously you can see my Wi-Fi antenna and the 2 cables, and again they all fit in there pretty well. I mean, but that is also going to be dependent on what components you put in here. So if you have a taller USB stick, it's just not going to work. Yeah, and then every designs writes a PC making temple. All right, and so yeah, so this is the configuration in its like tower form, and obviously this part is optional, so you could not use it if you don't want to. Right now I do have the button attached to this front panel, but the CAD that I have already ready to roll, I just need to press like make public. Basically you can relocate the power button to this panel here so that you won't need this one, but it just means that you have like your cables exposed, and that's one of the things I did want to accomplish, was hiding the cables that you have in here. And I think what I want to do next is now break it down to show you the other configuration. But before I do that, if you have any questions, post them now before you don't see it in this configuration for the rest of the stream. And while I'm waiting for any questions, let me see. Yeah, I'm getting this like bitrate warning, but if you guys are saying it's okay, then we'll leave it good then. But we did find out through Comcast that my downstream wasn't the issue. So I mean, we pay for like the gigabit line or whatever, and so that was okay. It's really the upstream was the issue. So apparently there's just a lot of signal noise because of their equipment, and so I think we're seeing that now. Hopefully it's fine on your end. Yeah, so okay, no questions on this, or now we're going to move on to the other configuration. So it is a little funky working with it because like the cable has to go through the case. All right, see, EVGA design's right. Very cool. This case is great for RTX 3000 FE and 4000 FEs. Yeah, except for the 4090. Obviously, it's not going to fit. Sorry, the 4090, the 4080 probably won't fit in here. The 5090 also will not fit in this because of the width, but I mean, I think we can work on that later on. Because they have blower style cooling. Oh, you're talking about the like the Quadro style cards. Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe are we talking about different things? But I think with a blower card, yeah, you would definitely work. It would work a lot better because again, this is all mesh, and the video card is completely exposed on the top, and so that wouldn't be an issue. Now, let's go ahead and show you the other configuration now. So let me go ahead and disconnect my power and my LED cables. All right, so it just comes off like so. Actually, while we're here, I might as well remove this. And so I think if you ever use these 60mm power buttons, they all kind of work the same. And so you basically have a lock ring that you take out, and then the power button should then just be able to slide right out. All right, so I'm going to put that over there for now. And let me go ahead and disconnect the display port and the power cable. Okay, so let me go and so the way I designed it, it's kind of funky. In order to take off this panel here, you do have to remove the HDMI and the DisplayPort extenders. And I may revisit it. It's just like there's really not much room, and so I'll show you if I can. But basically, like I couldn't put a mounting area around here because there's just really nothing there to mount to, and so I was kind of just locked into where I could have it attached. But that may change when we do release the files that can accommodate for a 4090 or a 5090, because it'll just basically be wider and there's a little bit more room. Okay, and that's that. And then I'll have these linked. Actually, they might be already linked in the video description too. But this is the DisplayPort cable that I'm using. I got from Amazon. Definitely not expensive like the one that EVGA Designs mentioned. I think they were like less than $10, and so I was just trying to make sure that there were at least like, I forgot the rating for the HDMI and the DisplayPort, but it was enough that I was okay using it. I think it can do 4K, and that's all I really wanted. I don't know if it'll do like 4K at like 400 hertz or whatever, but I mean, I don't have a monitor that can do that, so what can you do? Anyway, so this is the HDMI cable, and there's just like some like contorting you have to do to make them fit inside here. And so now that I've got those out, I can then remove this optional piece here. And like I was saying before, basically the top hat, let's call it the top hat and the little mount for the extenders are all optional, because you could just use the case as is. You just do have the problem of having all your cables kind of exposed. But in one of my previous streams, someone did ask about having a case where they're able to access the motherboard I/O easily. I think that kind of works. I mean, it's not the prettiest solution, obviously, but you do have the option to really just like plug in your USB and whatnot without having to like reach back, but you do have to deal with the actual cable sticking out and whatnot. And so, but you do have that option. So there's that. And then so now, I think I showed you before. Let's put it into its horizontal configuration now. There's a few ways to go about the horizontal configuration. Basically, you could leave the power supply as it is now, and what you'll need to do is basically you'll need a right-angled cable, kind of like, I'll show this one as an example, but this one's internal. But obviously, if you buy like a full-length, I think C13 or C14, whatever, cable, it would just then sit directly underneath here. And let me show you what I mean about that. Just give me a second here while I remove the feet from the bottom and move them to the other side. All right, so I'm trying to do this so that you can see it on camera. Just a little harder for me to see. But overall, aesthetically, like I'm thrilled with this case. Like when you look at it from an aesthetic standpoint, I think the white PETG with the glass fiber works really well with it. I think it's a very clean looking design. But in its current form, because I did design it for just my stuff, it is quite I guess limiting in terms of what you can put in there, because not everyone has like a video card that has the same geometry or form as like my RTX 3080 or this RTX 2080 Ti. A lot of video cards are just huge these days. All right, Fun Dine is in here. Fun Dine, good to see you. But I mean, if you have like an FE like 4070 or something, I think it'll be fine in here. Okay, so basically, as you can see, I've moved the feet, and again, so there's a few ways to use the horizontal configuration. You can just use a right angle cable like so, and then I have the feet tall enough so that it should clear it, like so. Obviously, like it's going to come out this way, and you can also have a different cable that faces the other way, so it doesn't have to loop around like this one's doing right now. And then the other option is to actually make the cable internal, and it's gonna do that the same way my previous like console case did. Give me a second. If you remember this case here, basically it does have it was designed so that the power supply was going to be lifted up to make room for the power cable, and the same thing can be done here too. Basically, I'm just reusing the same spacers that are found in that file for this case as well. And so let me show you how that's done right now. If you remember, these are the spacers that we use for the console style. EVGA Designs says, oh, that's neat. We could design accessories for those feet mounts, like cable holder, pen holder, etc. Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of areas to like mount, because they'll be available. Like even when you go in the horizontal configuration, I believe, yes, there's mounting over here. There's also more magnets that are exposed, and so you could have a lot of fun with this thing. But let me go ahead and show you how to use it with the internal cabling. That way you don't have like a cable like snaking in the bottom, if that's something that you don't want. So let me go ahead and just move some of these cables out. So right now for my cables, I'm using like This is from my Arduino kit, and basically it just allows me to extend this cable. And so I guess for me, making these YouTube live streams, like I need versatility, but the one I have linked in the description is like a fixed cable. And so every time you do want to change the orientation, which I doubt you will want to, you do have to kind of take the whole thing out. But for now, I'm actually leaving it in because again, I have to, or sorry, I'm extending them because I had to show off all the configurations, but I'm assuming most people are going to have like a one and done situation. So, but let me know if that's not the case. Sorry, now I'm going to go ahead and remove the screws that are holding the power supply. And I haven't done any cable management in this mode, which is kind of nice. If you do intend to use the 240 millimeter radiator, you will 100% need to do cable management. And I would I would almost say that it's mandatory to use custom cables in that configuration too, with the 240 millimeter AIO. And I'm actually wondering, maybe I didn't show the AIO bracket. Maybe it might be useful to show that now. But basically, well, we'll wait until I get the power supply in and I'll show you. So let me go ahead and get these screws out of here. All right. And so now it's going to be hard to see on camera, but what I intend to do right now, so you can see that the power supply sits flush directly on the bottom of the case. What I'm going to do is move it up so that we can make this cable internal. So let me go ahead and try that now. I forget actually, in my previous stream, this was quite hard to do because you kind of have to snake these little spacers in. I remember I had like a little method, but I kind of forgot how it went now, but we'll see how it goes. I think I just kind of made space and then pushed these through. But I remember the bottom ones were like really hard to get to. Oh, I think one thing, I mean, obviously I'm doing like the order of operations is wrong right now. Like make sure like you get this cable in first. Actually, let's go ahead and do that right now because I'm going to have issues later on. But this thing just goes inside here, and I will use some screws to fix it in. Let's see. I think I can actually just reuse these screws, which I will. And I dropped one, but it dropped in the right little carriage thing. That's pretty cool. All right, so where's my screwdriver? There it is. So I'm just screwing in the I think it's C14 or I think it's C14. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the actual like designation for this type of connector. I think it's C14, but I'm probably wrong. But I mean, obviously it attaches just, yeah, C14. Awesome. And Percy Paniello writes, "Hello, good to see you, Percy." And so now I'm just gonna move this cable, kind of. Well, I'll do like some slight management, I guess. And then I'll just snake it under here. And I think that'll be fine. But I'm glad that the stream is holding up so far. I hope it's holding up. Maybe y'all are just being too nice and dealing with the lag. Same as last stream. My gosh, that was frustrating. But I do appreciate some of y'all staying around for that. That was kind of nuts that y'all wanted to endure the lag fest. Because I mean, I was irritated. I'm the one streaming. I couldn't even imagine watching that. So appreciate you all. Okay, so I've got the bottom two spacers in. I'm kind of just loosely putting them on because they don't need to be tight right now. And I'm going to put this top spacer over here. And obviously I'll flip over the case soon so you can see what I've been up to. It's definitely harder to see at that angle, but I think you can kind of get the gist of it. And Fundine says, "Streaming good." Awesome, that's good to hear. Okay, so I'm going to tighten these down. Okay, so with these spacers in, it does give enough room for this right angled connector to sit in there. And the orientation of the power supply can be both used, like right now I have it facing out, so it's drawing air in from here. Obviously you can change that up. EVGA Designs writes, is this ABS glass fiber? No, it is PETG glass fiber, which is, it worked out pretty well. I wish it came in that same cream color as the retro build. But yeah, so it's PETG white with glass fiber. It worked out pretty well. I have it linked in the description. Hopefully it's still in stock. I've actually been watching that one for a while, and it was out of stock for a while, and it came in stock, so I like quickly bought it. But as you can see here, I'll do this temporarily. I think you can kind of get the gist. So it's funny. You can see here I kind of just like punched a hole in it. The file that I'll be uploading, or sorry, the file that's already there should work. And it should already have this hole already brought in. So basically you would then sneak your, oh no, my little power LED soldering job is dying, which is not, I'm not surprised because it's gone through a lot. Like I've been like basically, you know, when you build in small form factor PCs, you put a lot of strain on some cables sometimes, and I'm really surprised it survived this long. But it is probably hanging on by like 2 threads right now. It's probably going to cause like an issue later on. But yeah, I won't connect the power, but I think you can kind of get the idea of what's going to happen here. Basically, if you don't want to use the optional top hat, you can just use a horizontal configuration of this case like so, and basically it's like, so in this configuration it's only 10.2 liters, and depending on how good, or how, maybe it's dependent on the AIO you use, but I'll post a short of like the videos I had when I was recording after the stream. But basically you can definitely fit a 240mm AIO inside here, and so basically you can have a pretty like compact 10.2 liter case that can fit fairly decent size GPUs and be able to cool the CPU well. And so, I mean, as of right now, it's just a box, but I think it's a clean box though, right? Like, look at that, I think it's pretty good. Like, and it's super small and compact, and there's no wires, you know, hanging from the bottom anymore. And obviously, you know, I guess what you could do is like, I don't know why you would do it, but this obviously you can, you know, you can hide the cables in the back. I think actually, hold on one second. I think this actually works. I think it's flippable. It is flippable. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So basically, you know, you could hide the back. I don't know what the reason would be for that, but and so looking at it there, that's like the 10.2 horizontal version of this. And then if you do want to put that face, because you know you do have exposed, you know, brass heat inserts in here. You have the exposed magnets, and so if you don't want those in there, you can obviously just use the front panel, and I'll show that right now. And what I'll do actually is actually connect this, because I want to know if my video card is any different in this horizontal configuration, because when I use the RTX 3080 in the vertical configuration, again, like it hit temp limits like pretty soon. But when I put it in this configuration, it was fine. But so I guess I could have just like posed this as like a horizontal case, but that wasn't the point of this design. It was supposed to be kind of like a convertible case that you can have the option of like using vertically or horizontally. And so and that's kind of why I don't really like consider this a complete success, even though as far as like aesthetics, like I love the way it looks. So right now I'm going to test it with you, and we'll see if the video card performs different in this horizontal configuration. Okay, so I just put the power cable in now. And then Evie Designs writes, PETG in general, pretty flexible. Yep. How stiff is this one? From your experience, is ABS stiffer? I've been printing with regular PLA PETG mostly. So my experience with PETG is actually quite low. Most of my prints have been with PETG or ABS. I mean, so this is a bad example to show the stiffness because it's like literally, it's I think it's like 7mm thick edge, but then the inside is only like 2mm. But you know, you can kind of see it flex. And then compared to the ABS, give me 1 second. Never mind, the ABS one is screwed in, but I find them to be the same. But at the same time too, it's hard for me to gauge and give you a complete answer because these are mesh panels, and so I mean they're going to be inherently weaker and more flexible than like a solid panel because there's no top and bottom layers. But for the purposes of my cases, like I've had no issues with either, and so like if I could just print in PETG all the time with glass fiber and carbon fiber, that's what I would do. Just personally, I don't think the benefits for ABS, like I think it has a higher heat resistance, but I don't think it's enough for me to actually like continuously print with it because it is just so much more toxic. And I know that printing with PETG is also toxic, but like my eyes will literally like tear up printing with ABS, and so I would, if I have the choice, I will go with PETG. And then again, in terms of stiffness, no issues, but at the same time too, like these aren't really quote unquote like load bearing devices, I guess. Like I know that I saw the Reddit post with Jacob, like Jacob Designs, he does like Maker Beam cases, and he was like standing on it. I mean, I think it's cool and all, but like it's not the purpose of a VC case, and so I don't think like that type of durability testing is needed. And so for my purposes, like I'm okay with PETG despite it being like quote unquote like flexible, because when you're using the PC as is, it's I think it's structurally sound. Let's see. Evie Designs, designer guys should print out some notes. Presenter is struggling here. Yeah. Well, I mean, I also get like sidetracked too. Like, you know, like whenever someone asks a question about something, I'll be like, oh, well, check out this case. And so I'll be like, hold on 1 second while I walk over there and like grab it. Okay, let me install the power cable here and the LED cable. I think if you've watched my other streams, I'm actually stealing the 12-volt power from my fan ports right now. I mean, the link I have in the description for the power cables that are equivalent to this will not do that. But unfortunately, the LED in here has like resistors in it so that it won't work with the normal LED outputs from the front panel. Hold on 1 second, I have to remember how to do this again. So I have this little fan here for reference. So I know that the outer one is negative. Okay. Outer one is negative. I should just remember it, but I guess it's always best to just to check another piece for reference. Okay. I'm not doing too much cable management. Just want to show you all and also do the thermal testing, but I don't think I have any cables in the way. Kind of. No, that's kind of in the way. But not in the way of the fan. Okay, so basically, there is the case in its horizontal configuration with the front panel. And so basically, it does add another leader for nothing, but if you want to talk about aesthetics, I think it looks way cleaner with the front panel on. I don't know if you agree or not. And then Evie writes, cap part is neat that you can flip and button location makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it's like a lot of fun being up here. And yeah, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. So I'm going to put it over here. Whoa, I almost dropped it. Whoa, boy, that would have been Worse than internet issues, I think. Because I just got this RTX 2080 Ti back in service because it was in its water cooling configuration, which is super limiting, and so it's really fun to have it back and running again. And I forget how small it is actually. Like, it's kind of a small card compared to like new cards these days. But I think it's officially no longer like mid pack in terms of like performance. I think there's just been too many new cards out now that like it's no longer really high up there. So for a long time, like I had no desire to upgrade because the 20 Ti was like kind of like mid upper range. And then I only got the RTX 3080 actually. I bought it used off Craigslist. I knew the guy mined on it, but like it was really just to kind of like get a bigger video card, and I got it fairly cheap, and it ended up working out pretty well in terms of an actual usable card. I think it's ready to turn on. Let's see. Okay, cool. And yeah, let's wait for it to boot. I hope I plugged it in properly. Will it boot? It's on. Why isn't it? What did I do? They literally just had this running a while ago. We know it's on. What did I do wrong here? Is the LED on? LED's on. Okay. Oh, there it goes. It just took a while. I wonder if like the memory speeds have to be kind of readjusted or something. I'm going to go ahead and log it in now. And I'm going to make you suffer through 15 minutes of Uni-Engine just to see how the thermals are compared to what I had prior. So if you're unaware, I use superposition benchmark for some of my thermal tests. It's not the most demanding, but it's demanding enough that I found that it's a good compromise because it is also a pretty lightweight program. I also have like 3D Mark, but I mean, I have to like log into Steam. I gotta like log into the actual 3D Mark account, and then with this one, I just download a file. I have this file on a USB, so I don't really have to download it. I just gotta install it, and so it's kind of just like nice to have. And let's go ahead and turn that thing on. But yeah, I mean, so this is it, and it's I keep grabbing it by the panel. I should stop that. But basically, this is the horizontal configuration. I mean, even in this configuration, I think it's still pretty darn clean. And so yeah. But it is funny though. Like this this video card has a little bit of coil whine. It's probably not be able to. You can't probably pick it up with the microphone, but it's kind of apparent. All right, so I'm just gonna let this run. It's running at like the normal default 1080p, whatever settings it puts out. And yeah, right now, obviously the CPU is not being loaded, so it's below 50 degrees. The GPU has already risen to around 56. And let me go ahead and put a timer on so that we can get this kind of tested. And obviously this is not the most scientific test. My ambient temperatures right now, oh, they're kind of roughly the same. It's actually quite cold in my garage. It's only around 62 degrees Fahrenheit, around like 16, 15 Celsius. That's why I'm wearing a sweater. I actually have two shirts on underneath too. EVGA Designs writes, new GPUs are huge. I got an RX 9070 XT from SFX, and it had 10 millimeters of plastic piece on the end, and it wouldn't fit in my NR200 V1. Wow, that's kind of big. That's a huge card, my gosh. But yeah, you're totally right. The new video cards nowadays are huge. I know recently, like I think about a year ago, NVIDIA put out like a little chart of like their small form factor compatible video cards, and they were all pretty huge too. So it is kind of a bummer that all the video cards are getting so big, but I mean, we want more power, right? So it's kind of like our own fault. EVGA Designs writes, so much for spaceship design. Wait, what do you mean? You're talking about this or something else? Maybe I missed that. But how did you get the? I have to ask, what was the price for that 9070 XD? I know that like finding one MSRP is like holy grail status, and apparently it's gonna get like so much worse now with the new regulations and tariffs or whatnot. So it's kind of a bummer for everyone. And then oh, Captain Merc, good to see you. GPU coolers are huge because they gotta justify the price markup over MSRP. Oh my gosh, I know, it's such a. I mean, I think it is cool that like the GPU coolers are huge because then you get cooler GPUs, but it is just a shame that some of them are just like completely overkill. Heavy Design writes, I stood outside of Micro Center for 3 hours on launch day. You are like a proud consumer. That's I don't know if I could do that anymore. I think when I was younger, like I used to do the Black Fridays like sales where I would like line up for like hours, and I think I'm too old for that. Like I think the last time I did it, there was like some crazy combo at like Fry's Electronics where it was like a CPU and a motherboard, and I was able to save like I think like $200 back then. $200 was like a lot back then, but then in my head I'm like, I think I would pay like $200 to like sleep in my comfortable warm bed because it was like freezing when we did that. I mean, not freezing, obviously, it's like California. Every design, right? What's more funny that GPU did not post. I had to. Oh wait, so when you returned it, were you able to like get a replacement? I mean, I know they sell out like hotcakes, and so that must have been like brutal to like know you had one that didn't post. My God, that's like some crazy luck. All right, so just an update. We're like, how many minutes in are we? We're only 5 minutes in, and we've already hit around the same temperatures that we had in the vertical orientation. And so my assumption is that they're going to be roughly the same. Like, basically, if it is going to be a few degrees higher or lower, it's probably just dependent on the ambient temperatures that we have in the garage, because I tested it this morning around, like, I think 7 a.m., and so definitely a lot colder. And so we'll see how it goes, because when you do temperature tests, you definitely always want to keep in mind what your ambient was, because they definitely relate to each other. Oh my gosh, so they said nope. They were like, we are so sorry. What? That sucks. I mean, I'm assuming you got another one. Fun Dying writes, best way to thin crowds at sales is a combo of deviled eggs and baked beans. Oh my gosh. But you know, when you're outside though, it doesn't really matter because you can like fart up a storm. It doesn't matter, right? I saw dudes out there with like, they were like sleeping in tents. I think that might have been the play. They were probably like chilling in there too. I just remember not having to like, I like purposely didn't drink any water or anything because I didn't want to go pee. That was just, man, like I think about that to this day because every time Black Friday rolls around, I'm just like, no, I will pay whatever discount there is, unless it's online. That's different, obviously. That's very different. And every design's right. I gave up. But you know, it's did you have the option to do like an RMA through SFX maybe? But I mean, I'm sure they also have shortages on their end too, so you probably would have been waiting as well, and you got to deal with like shipping. I hate RMAing. But, I mean, to that point, too, I think it's pretty sick you have a Micro Center nearby. We have one opening up soon. It was supposed to open up, like, Q3 2024, but it's, you know, I think we're in Q2 now for 2025. It's still not open, so we'll see how it goes. But really excited to have a Micro Center nearby. Maybe it'll open up some opportunities for, like, better parts or something. Because we did lose Micro Center a few years back, and then we also lost Fry's Electronics, so that's kind of a bummer. Oh, so Percy Yellow wrote, no, you hand out the deviled eggs and baked beans, obviously. Well, that's the problem, though. I think the individual waiting in line with you is already determined enough that, like, diarrhea or, like, bad farts aren't going to be an issue for them. They will stay for that. That'd actually be a pro move to just, like, put on some Depends underwear before you go line up for those things. All right, another update. I think I've been yapping for another, let's see, yeah, I've been yapping for a few more other minutes, and like it is pretty stable at like around 70. I think I did see it hit like 71 depending on the scene. I mean, I don't think I need to make it run any longer. I think that basically, like, there is no, for this particular video card, there's no difference between having it in its vertical or horizontal orientation, and so that's cool. I wish I could say the same about the RTX 3080. It was kind of wild, actually. I wasn't. I knew that some video cards don't like being upside down or even sometimes like sideways, but I didn't expect it to be that drastic. Like it was. I remember it completely just like the fans went full bore like 5 minutes in, and then when I turned it in this configuration, it was like as if nothing happened. So it's kind of wild how sensitive some cards are about that. Evie Designs wrote, no, they were messages where you got to deal with your seller. I was not the only one who got lemon units. Saw many posts on Radeon subgroup. Dang. So SFX a no-go then, huh? Because I guess, like, I remember back then, like, Sapphire was, like, the brand to get for AMD cards or Radeon or ATI. I haven't kept up. Obviously, I haven't really bought anything, like, new since, like, this RTX 2080 Ti back in 2020, like, pre-COVID. No, I take that back. I did buy that silly the Intel Arc A770 that I'm streaming with right now was obviously brand new. I think it's made by Acer of all people. I know they make like desktops and laptops, but they also, I guess, may make their own video cards. And I got one for sale, so it's been used for obviously the streams, and I also do a lot of like AI stuff with it too. Yeah, so I'm seeing like the same temperatures essentially. So it's like saying right now it's at 71, which is pretty much in line with what I had before. And so it's good to know that this video card can work in both configurations. A part of me wants to like try the 240 again, but it was really aggravating. Right now I have the 240 hooked up to my actual gaming PC, and so I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, I don't, like, do you guys need proof that it works? I'll have to, like, cable manage for it. But yeah, I mean, basically, as is, this is, like, kind of the video card. Sorry, the case. So we've got, you know, its horizontal configuration working out pretty well. Obviously, I could do cleaner cable management in there, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Basically, we can make the files live. You know, I can probably do that right now. Actually, while we're on here, maybe we do let the benchmark keep running, and then maybe we can end it after the benchmark is done. But right now, let me go log into my printables account and make that file live for y'all. I may change like the photo for it, but right now I think it's just like a photo of like from my phone or something. Actually, hold on. Maybe I can add it. No, let's actually hold on 1 second. Maybe while we're waiting for the benchmark to finish, let me go ahead and maybe also upload the photo of it also in its horizontal configuration. Give me a second here. Yeah, so yeah, in like two weeks ago when I tried the previous stream, I didn't even bother like doing my usual photos because I was just so frustrated. But I think we can use this photo, and I'll upload the photo, and then I'll make the file live for everyone to enjoy. Assuming people will enjoy it, I think they will. And actually, I should probably look at my chat instead of having this up here. Okay, let's see. So Evie Designs writes, you got to look into Sapphire Nitro RX 9070. It has removable side cover and the power slots are on the butt end of the PCB. Oh, nice. So that makes it easier to install. Percy writes, part of me wants to get an ARC B50 just to see how well it works with GameScope. GameScope? Steam OS game mode. Huh. Interesting. I don't know what that is. Is that kind of like I heard about this other file called lossless upscaling, where apparently you can take like 2 video cards, have one video card like run the game, and then the other video card just do upscaling and frame gen. So I wonder if it's the same thing you're talking about. Evie Designs writes, yeah, they are a pretty great budget option and clean designs. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like my A770. I don't know if I would recommend it for like general like gaming use though, because I know when I made the, if you've ever watched my video for the Freebeam ITX version, I put the A770 in there, and you know I played like Cyberpunk, ran you know this benchmark as well, and it performed pretty well. But I do keep hearing about people having like issues with other games that are like kind of normal, and so yeah, I guess that would be my main thing. So for me, like obviously I only use it for the AV1 codec to make streaming to YouTube easier, and then on as a bonus, like quickly after I purchased that, I guess Intel created their own like AI app suite, and it's been working pretty well. So I used to do a lot of AI stuff on the 3080, but the 3080 I have, it only has like 10 gigabytes of RAM. The A770 has 16. And what's nice about the Intel AI Playground, that's the app that Intel uses, is that it literally has everything all in one. It has like in-painting, image generation, like a chat bot. It can do like local files. So like, and it's all just one single app, and it kind of works pretty well. And you're able to even change like the models it uses. And so, yeah, when DeepSeek R1 came out, like I was able to use that locally without any internet. So that it was actually kind of nice for that. But for general use, I don't know. I think I'd be hesitant to be like, go out and buy one, everyone. Because my experience has been great, because like, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. Well, I totally got sidetracked here. I was supposed to upload a new photo for printables so that we can get that thing uploaded, shared, so that y'all can enjoy it. Let's see. So I'm just like doing some slight editing, and we should be good to go soon. I might even just make it live from my phone. Yeah, let's do that. Let me go ahead and log out of this one so that it doesn't give me any issues with like multiple accounts in one thing. All right, so Percy writes, it's the backend for the console UI on Steam Deck. It basically makes it to where Steam Big Picture is the desktop instead of having a desktop wasting resources in the background. Oh, nice. Okay. It's a backend. That's pretty cool, actually. You know, I did hear some murmurs about them updating the Steam OS actual software. I'm curious, like, how that is, because I remember when I made the Steam Machine replica, alright, so timer's done, and temperature's the same. I mean, I opened the case panel, but I don't think it really makes much of a difference, to be honest. Kind of, you just keep hitting this thing. So it's funny, I remember someone was commenting, they wrote like an essay in one of my videos, because I think it was for the Honeycomb Wall System PC, where they were saying like, oh, you must have done some video editing because like my front panel doesn't stay on. But it's like, you know, like you saw me like drop it a few times. It is a magnet. There's no like screws, and maybe like they expected it to be like rock solid. So like, I mean, right now you saw me kind of like try to lift it up, and then like obviously it fell apart. But maybe that's what they're complaining about. Maybe it's just the expectation. Like, so if you print this out, like, you know, it's not like a load-bearing part of the case, so maybe that was the issue they had. Fun Diane writes, I have a B580 ordered for my nutty build. Ooh, just explain this nutty build. Like, what are the intentions for it? Doing some face swaps? Are you starting your own OF? Hold on 1 second here. New photo. Will it work? Why can't I add a photo? I swear printables is a kind of a... You know, I used to hate the Thingiverse website. But maybe like there's just too much glut happening with printables as well. Hold on, it's not allowing me to upload photos. Let's try that again. Edit. Let me upload a photo. Okay, so it's uploading the photo. And I am publishing it now. So it should be live now. If you check out my printables, but let me go ahead and maybe change also the, well, I guess I can change the link later for the live stream, but it should be live in my printables. I'm sure if you've seen my other cases, they're all uploaded there. And I guess I'm tired of getting my face blasted with heat from this thing, so I'm going to turn off this this benchmark. Where's my mouse? Wait, did my mouse just die? Wait, this is not hung, is it? Oh, I'm using the wrong... Sorry. I was trying to like use the wrong mouse. Did I press anything over here? Good, no, I didn't. Awesome. Cool, it's good to know. So I think that's one thing I wanted to verify with you, is to see if this particular video card had the same issues as the 3080. But luckily, even in the... if it did have the same issue, it didn't overheat in the vertical orientation. So I guess even if it got a little cooler in the horizontal mode, I wouldn't have been mad, because I mean it's a pretty low power card. I think it's only like around 270 watts. The my RTX 3080 pulls like 320, so it's probably not the fairest comparison. Fundyne writes, ooh, a Minis Forum 790i. Okay, nice, with the X3D. Okay, 8TB NVMe, 96 gigs of RAM with the ARC A770. Oh my gosh. So what do you plan on doing with that? Because that's kind of a funky build. Like, it's definitely not like really, excuse me, game oriented. I mean, that's a lot of RAM for like games. Go ahead and turn this off. And not bad. We did it like roughly an hour-ish. We've got, you know, I showcased the layouts. We got the file uploader right now, and so I think we accomplished a lot. And I do have a warning still on my bitrate thing. It's a pretty low bitrate too. I think I have it at like 2,500. That's pretty low. But I was just trying to be safe in case I did have issues, which I guess I'm having right now. But it looks like it's going fine. Fundyne writes, the motherboard has an AMD Ryzen 9 7945H X3D solid on the board, CV coolers integrated. Yeah, I was actually looking at that same board too. I just can't afford it right now because that's... but it looks like a really fun board to have. Like, I would love to get that and then maybe like water cool the CPU instead of like using the stock heatsink. And then maybe just like blast the VRMs with like cooling or something. Who knows? Fundyne writes, they're using it for gaming, learning 3D modeling, and general use. Awesome, awesome. I think that'll be great for that then. I just hope you don't have any issues with the gaming side. I mean, I can't really vouch for Intel Arc on the gaming side. But obviously, I use it. I'm using it right now for streaming. Yeah, it uses the AV1 codec, which is apparently like super efficient, and YouTube uses it for their streaming, and so that was really the prime motivator for me to get that thing. Percy Penleo writes, with the magnets, it's possible that the person commenting got ones that were weak. I compared the ones I bought for my SUG Steamy build with the ones my dad bought for some light switches. Found that my magnets were much better at sticking together in comparison to the ones he had. Yeah, so I think another thing too I may have brought up is that like if he got if they got the orientation wrong for the magnets, like yeah, it's not gonna work. Like I think I mentioned, I don't know if you watched my previous stream regarding the steam the SUG Steamy. I did get one of the magnets wrong in one of them, and so like it was a nightmare getting it out. But yeah, if you do get the orientation wrong on that, like the magnets are useless. And so I'm wondering if that was another issue for him. Fundine wrote, that would be cool to see it water cooled. Yeah, I think that Menace Forum company is like super interesting. I was talking with Saper PL, and he has this really cool idea on where the power connector should be on a GPU, and I thought it'd be really interesting, like because with Menace Forum, where they're now creating their own motherboards, like I don't see why they couldn't also like maybe get some like GPU chips and make their own PCBs to like really just be meant for small form factor PCs. That would be really fun. Evie Designs writes, next live stream idea, we all design a case together, and of course you're in the driver's seat. That would be pretty funny, actually. We definitely consider that. But one thing for sure, with Evie Designs here, on my Patreon, after my live stream fail from last time, I was really down, and I just felt bad that like everyone stuck around to like watch the freaking slideshow of my stream, and I just felt bad. So I thought as you know, as like a sign of good faith or whatever, like I normally I when I set up my Patreon, I say like, hey, I'm not gonna sit here and like take your designs and make them, but I was feeling generous and I asked like, what do you guys want to see in the Patreon? And some people did mention like getting like a custom, like kind of like the Menace Forum board where like the CPU might be integrated, or using like a laptop style CPU and making like a handheld out of it. I think that'd be fun. I just don't have the hardware for that. But Evie Designs themselves suggested another one. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't call you out, but another person called out an idea of basically taking the designs from my Patreon members and actually creating a video about that design and maybe giving it a critique. And I think so I haven't uploaded in a while, but again, as a sign of good faith, I do want to fulfill that. And so someone will be sharing a design, and I'll be basically printing it out on my own and kind of giving it a critique. And I think that'll be really fun. And so to that point, though, I think for the next stream about going through a design, I actually was already planning on that. So I have, I think I mentioned it before, I have like tons of stuff that I buy, I just don't ever open. And, you know, I have the, so this is the ASRock Desk Mini. I've created a few cases with it, obviously. I mean, I've created a few designs with it already. Like the leg lamp is actually, you know, the motherboard in that case was actually used inside this one. But I also have their ASRock Desk Meet. So it's like a bigger version of that, but it's like that. But basically, I do want to, I'll do a live stream with it because there are some things that are different on that particular motherboard versus like an ITX motherboard. I think from what I read, it is ITX, but it does have like breakouts for the I/O. So if you ever watch my live stream for SUG Forza, I actually had to measure out an entire motherboard because the motherboard dimensions for that particular case from Lenovo, I think it was generally micro ATX, but the mounting holes were all different. It also had like a protrusion on the PCB for the breakout, and so I had to like measure all that out manually and hopefully get it right for the case. And so I think in the near future I will finally open that ASRock Desk Meet and create a new case for it. And I think it might be interesting for viewers to kind of like see the process of how I go about approaching like a new PCB that's like unlike what's normally out there. Because for ITX, I know that I always suggest measuring out your own parts. But as far as the mounting holes and the dimension, it's pretty standard. There's really not much that differs besides like I/O possibly. But for I'm assuming the desk meat is ITX, but we'll see how it goes. So that'll be in the future. And I think, and then later on, in terms of like actually designing an entire case, that might be, I think it'll be fun. I'll think about it. Because once, I guess my hesitation is once you see like like I have like stupid CAD parts of like this is its own CAD part, you know, kind of thing. I have like CAD parts for like this now, like if, you know, because sometimes you can download the CAD from the manufacturer, but if they don't have it, like I have to build it myself. And so once you see the catalog of the stuff I've had to like CAD to make some of these things happen, it might be like a total like clown fest of like what people are going to want. They're going to be like, it's like, I don't know how to, I guess it would be like trying to order for your family at like McDonald's versus like In-N-Out. I don't know if that's a good like metaphor, because there's just a lot of options to go by. Maybe what we could do is just like shrink it down to be like, hey, it only has to be like this video card, this cooler, whatever. Because like I literally have like CAD for like even like dismantled radiators, and so it gets a little nutty. So I don't want to like open it up to be like, whoa, you got a whole buffet, I want like one of everything. It'll be a little nutty, but we'll see in the future. There's obviously like we got options, so it's a good idea though. Fundian writes, the 3D claims to be okay for gaming. Main thing for me was the CPU board combo is cheaper than getting it separately. Ooh, good point. Yeah, especially with like trying to get like the 9800X3D would be crazy. Let's see. Every designer writes, question, if any of your PC case design mature enough, would JLC 3DP be open to making them in more robust materials, metal, bent, etc.? I think so. So one thing I do want to discuss with JLC 3DP is basically right now what you can do is just take a file, upload it, and you get an instant quote for it. However, I know that especially for like a case like this, if you were to upload the files raw to JLC 3DP, like you are going to get some like weird numbers, because obviously when I printed these out, these are like in mesh, and so I think you do have to like go through like a back end to like find out like oh, I want this option, etc., etc. What I want to talk about with them is the possibility of having like a package so that like there's no thinking on like the buyer's part. Maybe you just go on there and like log in and be like, hey, like I'd like to order like the SUG-SHAFT in like black or something. But I don't know how that works out. Like they're the first company to sponsor this channel, and so I'm not sure how that interaction is going to go, but I will definitely bring it up. It doesn't really answer your question. I just wanted to plug it in, but basically in terms of making it into more robust, you definitely could. I don't know if I would suggest it. Like one case that's very possible for that is if you've ever seen my god, I even forgot the name now. Give me 1 second. I have to look it up. It's like it's that really like tiny case. I forgot the name now though. Maybe it's a SUG-Cute or something. Let me look it up. Wow, I upload I'm like a serial uploader. But yeah, so the SUG-QT, like Queen Tyrannosaurus, that design actually would work really well even for like something as crazy as like metal 3D printing, because it's actually quite thin walled, and so I think that would actually translate pretty well into a different, more stronger material. But other cases, I would say no. Like if you were to print this out in like a more exotic material, I don't know. And then also like when you talk about like bent metal, that's also like a completely different process, and so the design would have to change completely. So I'm not sure like how easily transferable that would be. It'd be more work on my part. But you can design too. So, but yeah, I think so with I went with JLC 3DP because I haven't told them this, but like I've actually worked with them professionally, so beyond the channel, and so that's why it was kind of like an easy answer to yes to working with them, because I know that they can actually like execute and produce, and they're easy to work with, and yeah, so I think in the future I hope this collaboration between us is going to grow, because I'm already actually talking with them right now about a future project where I need something CNC'd, and so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I think you could technically CNC this and just add like a different pattern. I think that would maybe work, but like in a different plastic, like Delrin or something. Who knows? But right now, I think if you were to translate some of the designs I have, it might be a little funky and very, very, very expensive. Fun Diane writes, learning CAD is one of the things I want to try to learn. Do it. I mean, honestly, at this point in time, like with YouTube, with AI, like everything is possible. Like I think really it's really just like a matter of you devoting that time and energy to learn something, because right now like we're no longer at a time where like you have to walk to a library to read something. Like you have the world at your fingertips. So and you seem, Fun Diane, you've been here a lot. Like I think your passion for it is going to help you so much to actually learn, because there's going to be a lot of frustration with learning like CAD, but because you're here, you show up, I think it's going to be easily translatable for you, because basically you want to make your own case, and so that's already like a great like motivator to learn CAD, because sometimes people want to learn CAD just for the learning CAD, but if you don't have like an actual end goal, like you will get hit pretty hard once you start struggling. But I think for you, I'm assuming you want to build your own case. That's going to be really helpful to keep you going, because you are going to hit some roadblocks for sure. Every Design writes, all good, just fun to be aware. Percy writes, it would realistically have to be designed specifically for the process. For sure. Every Designs writes, Fun Diane, which software are you using? I recommend Fusion 360 if you want to be super precise. Yeah, honestly, I was halfway tempted to try like contacting Onshape for like a collaboration of some sort, but I'm not sure anymore. Honestly, like I think I've only like dabbled in Fusion 360. I mean, I have my license for SolidWorks, and I might as well just use it. But knowing that Fusion 360 does have their own like maker's license account, I think that's like totally worth it, and you should definitely look into it. And obviously, like there's just tutorials on YouTube to like figure anything out really. But on that note, I think we got kind of everything I wanted to fill today. I'm really happy that the stream actually survived. I'm also happy that I was able to get this to work in the vertical layout with a different GPU. And luckily no one mentioned about me wanting to see the 240 in here. But yeah, so we got that figured out. And I don't know what else to show, because we can save that for another stream. We have I have definitely a lot of stuff I need to go over, and so there's not like a need for more content. There's just really a need for like the time, and yeah, I am super excited to show you all more, and basically that should be it for today. So I got one last comment here. We got next great option is Onshape. You can access your design from any computer and wouldn't require too much of a PC spec. Yeah, so Onshape actually even works with like your phone. So it's kind of funny. And Fun Diane writes, I'll try that. I have a few, but my laptop struggles with 3D programs. It barely runs Blender, which has been a pain for me. Yeah, so I mean, to Evie's point, Fun Diane, Onshape is browser based, and so if you can surf the internet, you can do CAD. Every Designs, yeah, do some unboxing. I know. Well, I mean, like maybe next stream really is just unboxing the desk meat. What would be a real bummer though is if I open it and it's like broken, because I've had it in a box for like maybe 4 years now. The SUG Forza was inside the box for the same amount of time too, so maybe it will be an unboxing. I also have like one So I have this one other idea. I purchased a 120 millimeter AIO, and it was actually supposed to be used for the, I believe the micro ATX. No, I think I purchased it for the SUG retro build, if you remember that one. But basically, I do want to show how to modify an AIO because it's just like I think it's fun. Like for me, like I think it's fun. Like this RTX 30 or 2080 Ti actually, when I bought it, I also purchased the hybrid kit for it, which basically like puts an AIO on the GPU, and it has like a radiator. And what I did with that was actually I ditched the 120 millimeter aluminum radiator, and then I installed like a copper 240, and it was a lot of fun. And so maybe it'll be a little fun to kind of show like how to like modify an AIO. 'Cause I know it's been brought up a lot in like the water cooling subreddit, and some of the examples I've seen like on YouTube are just like kind of gut wrenching. So maybe I'll tackle that too. But again, there's a lot of stuff we can do. Every Designs writes, "Oh God, grab your N94." Maybe it'll be patient zero for round two of Jesus, the nightmare that was the pandemic. My gosh. I mean, I say that, but you know, recluse me actually enjoyed being inside. But anyways, but yeah. So again, thank you so much for joining. If you like the stream, again, hit the like. I'm assuming you're already subscribed. If you're not subscribed, I do have a Patreon, so I do get like I do some one-on-ones with people on Patreon with some chats and whatnot, and obviously they get to see a lot of the stuff way before people do publicly. What else? No, but again, I think I just have to give my genuine thanks to everyone here because, again, I do take up your time. I just hope that you enjoy it, that you've learned something, and thank you so much for chatting away because obviously, like that's actually the most fun out of all of this because it's like being alone in my garage is fun and all, but like after a while when you're just sitting here not talking, it just kind of gets a little numbing. So it's a lot of fun being able to interact with people here. Yeah, every design gets to choose filament. Yes. Yeah, you fund the filament essentially, and there's a lot of filament that gets used up. But anyway, so it's Friday. I hope everyone has a great day. I hope everyone has like awesome plans for the weekend. And yeah, I'll be seeing you very soon. I actually, if my internet keeps going as it is in terms of like staying alive, because actually I think I mentioned in the beginning, there's more technicians coming out to actually fix the physical like terminal outside my or in my neighborhood, and then also they're planning on actually installing brand new lines in the ground for me. And so if that holds up and we have consistent internet, I actually, again, like I have too much stuff to go over. And so it may become a more regular thing. Like that'd be like great if I could do like 2 a week or something. So, and I think my wife would be happy about that because in that way I can open up actual boxes in the garage. So there's a lot of stuff in boxes that are just kind of chilling. But anyways, thanks again. Actually, let me read this last thing. So next live stream, we will design a case for Fun Dine for his 18-wheeler cabin corner foot. Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna let you all go. Again, thank you so much, and I will definitely see you very soon. And take care. And Percy writes, have a nice day. All right, thank you, everyone. Bye.